Yo, what's up, everyone? It's Adar coming back at you with another episode of Startup Engineering Daily. Let's hop right into it. So today we have a cool announcement from Lee Rob and Next.js, which is essentially saying that they're going to make it so you can connect into specific lifecycle pieces of Next.js if you're building your own platform like Netlify, Cloudflare, etc. And they have a working group with Amplify, Cloudflare, Netlify, Vercel, and I think one more, where they're basically just going to work together to make sure that any new releases for Next will have access to the exact same features that Vercel has. And they're going to be using this adapter API to connect to Next from Vercel so that it'll have even more separation. You know, I always thought that they were pretty good at separation, but it's great to see that they're doing even better. When I went to the Next conference in 2024, it was super awesome. Like, there was very little Vercel stuff, you know? It was all about kind of the open source Next and what's available for the framework. But it's good to see they're trying even harder because they do get a lot of criticism. Next, we just have a quick announcement from Vercel that they have an open source program. So if you have an open source project and you want to use Vercel for hosting like the landing page or whatever, or even the project itself, I guess, you can get access to credits. I think it's $3,600 right now. But I do believe if you're like really blowing up as an open source project, they'll just cover everything for you. So if you do open source, something to look into. Next, we have an update from Turborepo. They're now on 2.5. It doesn't seem like they're ready yet for full production, but quite close, 99.3%. But if you are using it, I don't know about most of this stuff, but the main thing for this, which I thought was really cool, is that if you want to have your own remote caching, because that's how it makes things faster, I guess, is with caching. And if you have massive projects, you might want to have remote caching. You can build it yourself and you can use the open API viewer, help make it easier and like understand what the API is that you have to integrate with for that remote caching. So it is really cool that Vercel is really going down the route of like, just make everything, you know, a standard open API and anyone who wants to connect can. And lastly, on the Next and Vercel side, they're doing a global hackathon. That's always cool. I guess it's just credits. I don't know if there's a full prize, but you know, something fun to do, especially if you're looking for ideas for projects. Like a lot of big startups have come out of hackathons, so definitely something to look into if you're looking for a new idea. Next, we have another really cool announcement from Rita Kozlov at Cloudflare. She really has like some awesome posts. I'm really glad that like I got recommended to her or whatever. But essentially, it seems that in Workers, you can just do env.images and put an image, and then you have access to transforming, drawing, output, info. So that's really sick. I wonder if you could even use this info for non-image metadata, but at the very least, you know, you can do like on-the-fly image processing in Workers. I might actually have to look into this, to be honest, because that is one of those pieces where if you're doing like image processing on your main server, it's going to throttle the CPU. So it is one of those services that you do have to move out to like a Lambda or something. Make sure that you're just handling it when you need it and it doesn't take out like your main API responses. And it seems like there is a detailed blog for this as well, so that's cool, and you could check it out if you want to get the insider details on why they're not using fetch, I guess, and how they built the custom bindings. Okay, next we have a pretty cool announcement from this company Liveblocks, which I haven't implemented, but it does seem like real-time software, you know, it's kind of like the present and the future. Like Google Docs is pretty old at this point, but most startups and companies don't have real-time opportunities like this. But you can see they basically partnered with this other package called BlockNote, which gives you like the text editor itself, and Liveblocks gives you like the real-time data. But you can see here, you can basically build your own version of Notion that's like real-time, like Google Docs, which is really cool. And I know there's other ways you can do this, like there's y.js, I believe, and like other packages or services that give you like real-time where it's completely abstracted away from you, which I think is probably a good idea for startups, unless you're doing like something very specific to real-time where you have to build it yourself. But Liveblocks seems cool, something to look into. Also Convex, you know, I've been discussing with some friends, and there's something there, but I haven't built with it either. You know, I'm still kind of just using WebSockets for my real-time stuff. Next, we just have a quick announcement from Shopify, which is cool. I haven't built anything for Shopify in like 6 months or so, but when you were building it, you were kind of like testing on Shopify itself always. There wasn't really like a local host like you have for like JavaScript or, you know, normal web development. So it seems like you can do that now, which is cool. And I also see in this video somewhere, there's something about Remix, I think. Yeah, so right here using Remix. So that's also really cool because I'm not sure how Remix and like Liquid work together, but you know, they bought Remix, which is a very big contender against Next.js as a web framework. So, you know, we'll have to keep up to date with this and see where it goes. And lastly for today, we have an announcement from Upstash. I always thought of them as just like a Reddit host, serverless Redis, but now they're doing a lot. They're doing like vectors, they're doing like workflow orchestration, like ingest, and now they have this new product. I'm not sure if they're trying to monetize it or if it's just like a marketing play. It's called Context 7. And basically what you can do is you can go to like documentation for different projects. You can see we can go into Next.js, right? And you can say like, how many tokens do you want to use for the documentation that you're going to feed into an LLM? I guess it's trying to optimize to give you the most valuable information for the tokens that you can handle. You can see here we have like a ton, but if I move it down to like 1,000, then it's just like the very basic stuff like server-side data fetching with ORM or database. So this is cool. I'm not sure how I'm going to implement this, if at all, into like my cursor usage. Like cursor is pretty good for what I do, but definitely like with Tailwind 4, for example, or like certain Chad CN components that are newer, you do need something like this, I think, for the efficient coding, because otherwise it's just going to be making stuff up or using out-of-date APIs, which is always trash. But that's all for today. Thanks for the patience. We'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.